Hey guys, Nikhil here from Business Banao. In this video, I'll be breaking down every tool a recruiter needs. When I say a recruiter, I'm referring to a small business entrepreneur who's looking to grow his team. Now, these particular tools which I'll be discussing are focused on startups and small businesses. They are not focused on your large enterprise businesses, because those guys need completely different set of tools. Over here, my main goal is to be able to help you automate and simplify your recruitment process a little bit more, so that despite being a single person or despite having just one or two people working in your recruitment effort, very easily they'll be able to carry out a very significant recruitment effort. Now, if you ask any businessman, they'll tell you it's far harder to hire an employee and find the right fit for your business than it is to find a customer. Typically speaking, a recruitment process will have these aspects. You'll have to get new applicants in some way or the other. You'll have to be able to schedule interviews. You'll have to conduct interviews, send offer letters, either hire people or reject them. Either they'll reject you or you will have to reject them for various circumstances. To simplify these steps, there's lots of different softwares you can use, and have broken down each function which we'll carry out in this video. So if you want, in the description, you'll find the timestamps to each particular function. Let's start with creating detailed job descriptions and optimizing them to be able to recruit. Now, Workable is actually a name which will keep popping up throughout the video, but their resources.workable.com, this particular website, has job descriptions for pretty much every job you can imagine. This particular single website has saved so many hours of my time whenever I've had to carry out a recruitment effort. And the best part is, a lot of times you will not even know what you're supposed to call a particular job, and you'll find it here. Say you're looking to hire a training director for job, right? So what would a training director job description look like? Oh, this is what it would look like. This would be the job brief. This would be the responsibilities, requirements, etc. Now, Workable is a HRMS software, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. But this particular website has so many job descriptions that this can be the jumping off point for any recruitment effort which you carry out, because this will give you a detailed understanding of what you should expect or what a candidate should expect from a particular job position. So start your journey over here. Just copy paste one of these templates. I'm sure they'll be really, really useful. And from then onwards, you can start customizing them. So if I were creating a billing role in my organization, I would copy these roles and responsibilities and customize, this sort of job template for my particular company. There's another website which I found which actually does this really well. It's called Jobsoid. Again, it's the same thought process. They have tons and tons of templates for different job positions, and it can really help focus your recruitment effort, because your job description is extremely clear. The first place where you can get job applicants from, and I'm sure a lot of you wouldn't have expected this, is Facebook. Trust me, Facebook is extremely underrated when it comes to finding good job applicants. Everyone is on Facebook. They mention a lot of their details, and Facebook makes it very easy for someone to apply to a job on Facebook. So the way I normally do it is, in my company page, I create a job listing and I share it in various different groups. And there's very specific groups which can help you easily identify applicants and let them apply to your company very, very easily, without having to check out your website, without having to set up a career page, etc. This Facebook is extremely useful if you want to hire someone in entry level, if you want to hire interns. I wouldn't suggest this as you go to senior positions, but to start off with, if you're just looking to hire, say, a telecaller, maybe some basic video editors or some sort of social media interns, you should start over here. It's extremely easy. It's free, and for very little cost, you can very easily boost it to a very large audience. Next, I am 100% sure you would have considered this if you are looking to hire senior level positions or some very, very specific positions. LinkedIn, guys, it's the ultimate professional network. You can find any sort of person over here. It's all about how well you're able to sell to him about your company and to get him to apply. All major companies start their recruitment process on LinkedIn, especially for executive and higher managerial roles. Of course, for entry level, this is not so great, but occasionally I have found a very nice diamond in the dust, even for entry level on LinkedIn. Someone is good enough to create a lucrative and an interesting profile on LinkedIn. I'm sure he would be a good example for you to recruit. Next, this is something which a lot of companies and a lot of people don't take advantage of. It's AngelList. My entire team, my existing partners, I found all of them on AngelList. This is an amazing tool, especially focused on people who are interested in working in startups. First two tools which I mentioned, those over there, people want to work in established companies, but you want someone who's more risk-taking, who has a higher risk-taking appetite. Please check out AngelList. It's an amazing platform to find really, really good profiles. And I've had an amazing experience. I've made some amazing friends as well, apart from recruiting my entire team on AngelList, just discussing with them and understanding what their perspective is about my startup. Don't ignore AngelList. It's a really, really powerful platform, especially if you're just a startup recruiting. This is something which I'm 100% sure you guys would have agreed would come in this list. Naukri.com, the oldest, job portal in India. Look, for very specific jobs, Naukri.com can actually be very useful, but I have had a terrible experience on Naukri.com. At the same time, I think you should still do your posting here, so that the thing here is this: to get results on Naukri.com, you need to do a paid posting. With free posting, I really don't think you'll get much results. Next, this has been coming up in India quite a lot over the past few years. Indeed, I've got some good results on Indeed. Sometimes it's been good, sometimes it's been bad. But over here, you can find some interesting results. Internshala is an amazing website to find interns. I think so many people I've worked with have found their interns on Internshala, and makes sense. You'll get people applying from all sorts of colleges to your internship. Another website I want to show you guys is Quicker Jobs. Quicker Jobs is a pretty good website if you're looking for people to apply in entry-level roles. It's pretty interesting. It works well, and their paid plans are not that expensive, and you don't have to talk to a salesperson to, actually just pay them and start boosting your job posting, which I find very annoying, by the way. A lot of websites, like including Naukri.com, you have to end up going through a salesperson, which I don't understand. I mean, I don't know. I think it just wastes time, and they are always trying to sell you extra more than you need. All these different portals which I've shown you where you can do your job postings, there's a way to actually automate that and track all your applicants in a single place. It's called an ATS. It's an application tracking system. Now keep this in mind that using one of these softwares, which I'm going to show you soon, you can create a single job description and post it across job portals, across Facebook, across LinkedIn, and anyone who applies to those, you'll actually be able to get all their data in a single place. And then there's just not one software which does this. There's many softwares which do this. You can pick anyone which suits your needs. Some of them are over here. There's Smart Recruiters, there's Zoho Recruit, there's Workable, and there's Fresh Team by Freshwork. These four softwares are some which I have used, and I've found them to be pretty user-friendly as a startup. I personally like Zoho Recruit a lot because you don't have to spend any money. They have a free plan which is very, very powerful, which can actually help take you from 1 to at least 10 or 20 people without paying a single penny, and allow you to track all your applicants. But do check out Fresh Team as well. They've also done a pretty good job. Because there's Workable and Smart Recruit here. Larger companies can use much more advanced softwares, but I have found these four to be simple enough so that I can set up and get going very fast. Now, do keep this in mind. Applicant tracking is extremely important. At the very least, make sure you at least have a Google form which is collecting all sorts of information like the name, address, their resumes, etc. Because trust me, it gets crazy in a hurry. Even if someone contacts you, send them a Google form link and ask them to fill that form at the bare minimum. Next, I want to talk about how you will filter candidates. One of the most important things to understand is once you post on all these portals using these application tracking systems or do it on your own, you'll at least get 50 to 60 applicants. When you are alone and when you don't have much time, you want to be able to filter candidates fast. Open Google Forms, go to settings, go to quizzes and make this a quiz and create a quiz for that specific job. Trust me, doing this will really help out. You'll be like, hey, he can just Google his answers. That's okay. Let him Google the answers and find solutions to some of the questions which you may have. And you can ask very simple questions, FAQs which you would ask in a normal interview. The point here is this: once a candidate actually fills the interview, right, he shows seriousness. He's serious about this job, and irrelevant candidates will just get filtered out. My thought process typically behind designing a quiz is that I take the job description, and for each role or responsibility, I try to find a question which I can ask, and that's not hard to find out. Like, just go Google about some questions you can ask a software guy, some questions you can ask a digital marketing guy, some questions you can ask a salesperson, and then ask those questions in a quiz where in a Google form on their phone, the applicant can put responses. Of course, the applicant tracking systems which I showed, like Zoho Recruit, have detailed assessments which you can carry out. My point here is this: quiz taking and assessment should be an important step, and very least, at the very, very least, you should be able to do it using Google Forms itself. It doesn't cost a penny and will help filter a lot of serious candidates for you. Normally, when you're recruiting, the reason I stress so much on the assessment criteria is, look, it's always hard to find the best recruit, but at the same time, very clearly, if your candidate doesn't go through your assessment, then you know he's not a recruit. He's someone you can definitely tell a no to. The reason is because you're creating these additional steps. A lot of people who are not serious will get filtered out. This is another example of how Smart Recruiter has very detailed performance and assessment modules. Same thing with Zoho Recruit, same thing with Fresh Streams. Any sort of applicant tracking system which you go to, they will 100% have an assessment module built in. And it's extremely important to make sure that you set this up right, because you just do it once and the end list of candidates will get filtered from 50, 60 to 4 or 5. Trust me, I've seen this happen. Even when people can Google answers, when they start seeing some of the questions you have asked, they may realize that that job is not right for them. So this is an important step. Don't ignore this step. Next, you need to be able to book appointments and create interviews. Now, this is a very, very easy thing to do. Please just use the most simple software like Google Meet. The reason I'm suggesting Google Meet is most people, even if they don't have Zoom installed on their phone, Gmail comes integrated with Google Meet these days, and very quickly you can just create an invite, create an instant meeting and invite him, or you don't even have to, go to the Google Meet settings. You just go to your calendar, and then in your calendar, you can create an event, invite that particular applicant and ask him to join at that time. Now, the reason I'm asking you to do this step, even if it's an offline role where they have to work from your office or work, going and meeting customers, you want to check the seriousness of the candidate. Is he at the right time? Is he able to technically join a Google Meet? First start with a Google Meet and then try to schedule an in-person meeting. The simple fact is this: if he is serious, only then you should call him to your office. If not, don't waste his time, don't waste your time. A lot of these applicant tracking systems will allow you to schedule interviews and appointments fairly easily. This is, of course, if you're using one of these applicant tracking systems, but that's completely okay. Even if you're not using one of these applicant tracking systems, my suggestion is to first do an interview on Google Meet and then get them for an offline interview if you want. The next thing you should be able to do is create proper offer letters. Now, a lot of these application tracking systems allow you to integrate with Google Docs or Microsoft Word or Zoho Writer, which is another, document management or like a document creation software, wherein you can create templates. My suggestion is this: in Google Docs, go to template gallery, go to your organization and make sure you submit a template for your offer letter even before you have a single applicant. The reason I'm asking you to keep this ready is once you start getting applications ready and the moment you find a right candidate, his offer letter should be out in an instant. You want to lock him in as soon as possible. Good candidates are hard to come by, guys. Please make sure that the moment he's approved and you like him and you've interviewed him, the template is ready. Click on the template, make changes and just push it out. Another easy way to simplify and automate your offer letter process is open Zoho Forms. It's a really nice form application. In this, click on your specific form type. Now, this is after you've approved. So this is an example of a form which I can fill, and I can have all sorts of fields in that. I can have, name, first name, last name, location. This is where you're going to join. This is your reporting person. These are the documents which I need you to upload over here. Once a candidate actually uploads all this, go to the settings section in Zoho Forms, and over here, click on document merge. Once you click on document merge, you will see something called a Zoho Writer over here. This Zoho Writer is basically a document management software like Google Docs, Word, etc. When you click on configure over here, you can actually configure an entire template with the letterhead and then have the form entries come there. So what that will allow you to do is you can have a fixed offer letter template with certain fields being changed. So if you want a detailed explanation of how to do this, just comment below. I'll do it in another video. But using this document merge feature, you just fill in the form and automatically an email will be triggered to the candidate and to you that, hey, offer letter is now submitted. The reason I'm asking you to again do this and automate this step is when you have many things to do, every minute counts, and setting up simple forms like this beforehand can save hours together in the future. Next, I want to talk about onboarding. Onboarding is extremely important process which a lot of companies, especially early on, tend to ignore. When you're onboarding someone, what you're trying to do is essentially tell them that, hey, this is what your job is. These are some of my company policies. These are what I'm expecting you to work on. These are our holiday policies. These are our expense policy, etc. It's an important step to carry because once you complete this process, your employee can get into the journey of becoming a productive asset for you. And he also is aware of his role. Normally, when an employee fails in a company, I don't attribute it completely to him. Of course, sometimes it is possible, but more often than not, the management has not set the right expectation of him. I have experienced this where good employees, which I thought would work well, because they were not clear with what they were supposed to work on. Because I myself was not experienced on figuring out how do I onboard them properly. Because of which they just had to leave, because hey, no one wants to be an unproductive asset in the world. Okay, I firmly believe that. So make sure you do an onboarding well. Some tools to consider: first is just have a simple document. Occasionally having a simple Google Doc should suffice. If not, Notion, it's a free tool which has some amazing templates on onboarding. Alternatively, you can also consider some HR management softwares like Fresh Teams actually has an HR software to do onboarding. Similarly, Zoho has people. Smart Recruiter has their own onboarding mechanism, and Workable as well. So I would suggest using one of these things and establish your onboarding process. The way you establish a customer onboarding, right? Your employee onboarding has to be very, very clear. If you're able to do this, the chances of that employee becoming a productive asset for you gets that much higher, and he also will be a lot clearer of what is expected of him. So these were some of the tools which I think can really help your recruitment process as a startup, as a small business owner. Let me know if you have any questions.